Hello, everyone. My name is Coach Antonia. I am a coach and program manager here at Coach Art. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes to get started to see if anyone tunes in. Today we have a lovely yoga class. It's going to be super mellow. It will get you probably pretty warm. You might even sweat a little bit, so make sure you have some water nearby. And you will definitely need a yoga mat. And I personally would take off your shoes. If you're wearing shoes, yoga usually is done barefoot. I'm wearing some socks, so if your house is a little bit cold like it is in this studio, feel free to keep your socks on. I'm gonna wait just a couple more minutes and see if anyone else tunes in, and then we will get started. Super happy to be here and super excited to give a little Zen time to anyone who needs it. This will be available on the Coach Art page for whenever you're like, I would like to calm down a little bit, have my heart rate come down, give your nervous system a nice little massage. All right, so we're gonna get started. So like I said, make sure you have your yoga mat and some water nearby. I have my little Coach Art shirt on with some comfy leggings because yoga is really all about being comfortable in my experience. So we're gonna start at the back of our mat, feet together, slight bend in those knees. We never wanna lock the knees out, so always keeping the knees really nice and soft and bent. And just start to wake your body up a little bit. So I'm gonna start rolling my shoulders back. Again, keeping that nice bend in the knees. And then I'm gonna roll them forward. Should feel really nice. And then I'm gonna start wiggling my legs, picking up alternating heels. Might hear some cracks in your ankles if you're like me and have played sports in the past. So just waking up your body nice and gently. I'm gonna do a couple ankle rolls on each foot. And just, whatever feels good, really gently circling your neck. Just to say hello to your joints and to your muscles and all that good stuff. So to begin, feet together or hip width apart, up to you, whatever's comfortable. Slight bend in the knees. We're gonna take a deep inhale through our nose, stretch up as wide and as tall as we can. And then exhale through your mouth, hands come through prayer, through heart center, and fingertips meet the mat. So it's really important here that you keep your elbows bent and soft because we don't want to hurt your hamstrings or lower back. So while you're here, balancing with your hands on the mat, so bending your knees as much as you need to get your hands down to the mat. And you're just going to start to pedal your legs out, so picking up one heel after another from the mat. Again, stabilizing with your hands. And then we're gonna take opposite elbows and you're gonna let your head hang completely limp. So we use our necks and heads a lot, especially if you work on computers throughout the day. And it's really important that we give our necks some nice relief. So super gently, we're gonna nod our head yes. And then still very gently shake our head no. And then again, we're going to release our hands back down to the mat. And so slowly, we're gonna walk forward into a plank. Once we get to the plank, we're gonna hold here for a second. Feel what it feels like to put weight on our palms, on our wrists, on our shoulders. And then so slowly as you can, we're gonna come down to the mat, untuck the toes, and we're going to reach forward and up with our collarbone. So you should feel a nice stretch and opening sensation in your chest. When that feels complete, you're gonna retuck your toes, press with your wrists through a plank into a downward dog. So this is a really good opening posture. Again, pedaling the feet out if that feels good. For your hamstrings, your calves, and actively pressing through the fingertips the entire time so that you keep getting that opening sensation in your shoulders. From here, we are going to take our right leg and lift it straight up in the air. We're going to bring our knee through our hands to meet our chin, and then we're going to take it right back up. And then one more time to meet our chin, and then take it right back up. And then from here, we're going to take our leg through our hands and plant our foot into a low lunge. From here, since we're just getting warmed up, we're going to drop our back knee, untuck our toe, and sit up, straighten from our hips. So from here, we're going to lean forward, and you should feel a really nice opening sensation in that back leg, in the hip of that back leg. And then we're going to come back up. And we're going to sit our butt back and try to straighten that front leg as much as we can. It should not be perfect. Mine's not perfect. There should always be a slight bend in that knee anyways. You should feel a nice sensation in your hamstrings. We're going to come back to that little lunge that we were doing. And then we're going to put our hands back on the mat. Bring that back leg up, and then step that front leg back to our other leg. And from here, we're going to come to a plank, and we're going to hop or step our feet back up between our hands, and then slowly, as slowly as possible, roll your body all the way up until you're back standing. So we're going to do that again, and we're going to do the other side with our legs. I'm just going to adjust this a little bit so that you can for sure see my whole body. All right, so now starting at the front of our mat this time, you take a deep breath in, stretch out as wide and as tall as you can. Hands come together through heart center, and you're going to fold over to the ground. Again, make sure you bend your knees so that your hands can touch the ground. And then you're either going to step or jump your feet back into a plank. We're going to stay in the plank for just 1 second. And then we're going to come down onto the mat, untuck the toes. And we're going to reach our collarbone forward and up. Like a little baby cobra, a little baby snake pose is what we call this. So again, from here, take your toes, put them back onto the mat, and then you're going to press up as best you can into a downward dog. This really, you look like a dog that is ready to play, and after this yoga session, you will be ready to play. Your body's going to feel so good. So again, pedaling the feet out, like you're pressing your heels one by one into the earth. And then we're going to take our left leg, or whichever leg you didn't do last. And we're going to bring it in and try to touch our chin with our knee. And then we're going to come back up. And then we're gonna try to touch our chin with our knee. And then we're gonna come back up. And then we're gonna bring our leg all the way through and put our foot between our hands. So you're gonna be in this nice low lunge position. From here, drop that back knee, untuck that toe, sit up. And then we're going to lean forward on that front leg. You should feel really nice stretching sensation in that back hip. When I say hip, it's like right here, you should feel a stretch. And it's very important to stretch your hips because if you play any sports or do anything active or even just sit a lot, your hips get really tight. And it's not gonna be fun the older you get, so. All right, and then from here, we're gonna sit back up, plant our hands down, and then step that foot back with the other foot. And then from here, we're going to either step or jump our feet back up to our hands. I'm gonna step this time, just like this. And then so slowly, as slowly as possible, you're gonna roll up to standing. And look at that, we're back where we started. All right, so now we're gonna add a couple of fun poses in there, okay? So I am going to show you guys, we're gonna do a chair pose. I'm sure you guys have done this before. When you think of a chair, I want you to visualize a chair, and then I want you to make yourself look like a chair, okay? So I'm gonna pretend that I'm actually gonna sit down in a chair because that helps me. So feet are together, knees are together, legs are glued together, so they look like this. And then you're gonna try to sit back in a chair, okay? So it helps some people to keep their arms out like this. If you wanna put your hands like this in the center, that's up to you. Totally up to you. I just want you guys to get that feeling of what it feels like to be a chair in chair pose, okay? So, sitting in your chair, you're gonna take your arms wide. You're gonna bring them together at heart center so your elbows are wide. And then you're gonna twist as best you can and try to hook that elbow around the opposite knee. Pretty crazy chair. And then you're gonna come through heart center and you're gonna go to the other side. And when that's complete, you're gonna come back to your chair, put your hands up, and then you're gonna forward fold again. Legs are slightly bent, and you're gonna put your hands back to the earth, just like we are used to from our other flows. And then from here again, you're going to jump or step your feet back. I'm going to step my feet back, and then you're gonna roll into the mat. Again, untuck the toes. Reach your collarbone forward and up in our baby snake pose. And then from here, retuck the toes, press up into a downward dog. Now from here, we're gonna do something a little bit different. So from here, we're gonna go up, we're gonna do our same low lunge, so bring that foot through. But instead of dropping the back knee, we're actually going to swoop our hands up into a crescent lunge pose. So you should feel like your legs are doing a little bit more work here than with the other lunges that we did. So we're just gonna hold for a second. Then we're gonna do a couple of things together, okay? So stay with me. So hands are up. We're gonna rotate our hips so that we're facing a wall, so we're not facing forward, facing the side. And then we're gonna open our arms. And this is our warrior pose, one of our warrior poses. So, play around with the front knee, like bouncing a little bit, kind of feeling like, oh, this is what my body can do, this is what my body can't do. And then from here, we're going to reverse our warrior, so the hand comes behind our back, and you get a nice stretch in that front part of your body. And then we're going to come back to warrior, and we're going to drop that front arm until we look like a triangle that I'm making with my body. Some people like to rest their hand up here. Totally up to you. A little bit more challenging if you don't rest your hand. From here, we're going to bring both of our arms down again, bring our foot back, and we're going to step or jump our feet up to our hands. That time I jumped. And then so slowly, I'm going to roll all the way up. And then we're back to standing. Look at that. All right, so we're going to go through that again, and we're going to do the other side, okay? So from here, deep breath in, get as big, like you couldn't get any bigger, and as tall, you couldn't get any taller, and then you're gonna exhale. Hands are gonna come together through the middle of your body, and then they're gonna come down to the earth again. From here, again, pedaling your feet out, and then we are gonna go back to our chair pose. So for me, I'm gonna swoop my hands up. But you can also have your hands out, you can have them forward, or you can have them at your heart center. And actually, I'm gonna go for heart center because it feels nice to have my hands right there right now. It's like you're giving yourself a little hug. So again, we're gonna bring our arms wide, heart center, elbows wide, and then we're gonna twist and try to hook our elbow around our opposite knee. And then we're going to switch sides. And then coming back to heart center, we're going to come up and come back down. Hands come to the mat. Again, pedal the feet out. And then we're going to step or hop our feet back into plank pose again. We're going to stay in plank for just a moment, and then we're going to lower to the mat, untuck the toes, stretch our collarbone forward and up with our baby snake pose. And again, retucking the toes, we're going to press up into a downward dog. Again, pedaling the feet out. And now we're going to take the other leg that we didn't do last set. We're going to bring it through our hands, plant the foot, and then we are going to swoop our hands forward, up and over our head, and we are in our crescent lunge. From here, we're going to spin our hips to the side so your feet stay in the same distance away from each other, but the back one spins from forward to the side, your hips spin to the side, and then your hands open up. And right here, this is our warrior pose. So you look like you're a warrior about to go into battle. It's a pretty cool pose. So then, we're gonna reverse the warrior, take our hand, our front hand, over our head, back hand behind our back. We're gonna come back forward, and then we're gonna make ourselves into a big triangle. So again, you can totally rest your arm on your knee if you would like. If you want more of a challenge, you can straighten it. And then we're gonna come back up and spin down like a windmill. Bring our foot back to our other foot. And then we're going to step or jump our feet between our hands. I'm going to step. And from here, slowly, 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 rolling all the way up. I'm going to have a sip of water. You guys should too. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit warm by now. I know that I am. It's very warm in this room though, so maybe that's it. And then we're going to keep going. I hope that you guys are enjoying yourself so far. All right, so coming back to the mat, we are going to do some plank, some different things with our plank now, okay? So This is probably gonna get you a little bit more sweaty. Definitely have some more water nearby. I think I'm gonna take my socks off because I think that they would be too hot if I kept them on. All right, so from here, we still need to get into our plank though, right? Yoga is all about flowing and connection, so I'm not gonna go straight to our plank. We're gonna come from standing. Again, deep breath in, as wide and as tall as you can. Exhale, forward fold, hands through heart center, and then they're gonna come down to the mat again. From here, step your feet right back, and here we are in plank. So, from here, I want you to take one leg, try to raise it up, drop it back down. Other leg, try to raise it up, drop it back down. Want you to take that first leg, step it out, step it back, and then second leg, step it out, step it back. Awesome, we're gonna do that one more time. So, first leg up and down, second leg up and down, first leg stepping out and back and out and back. Now from here, maybe you're getting a little shaky, we're gonna press back into our downward dog. We're gonna play around with it a little bit. Again, pedaling the feet out. And then we're gonna drop our knees as wide as our yoga mat. So the knees can be outside of the yoga mat, untuck the toes. We're gonna sit back into a child's pose. So your forehead should be on the mat, your hips, your butt is trying to sit down on your heels. It's okay if you don't get that far. Most people can't, I can't. And your fingers are stretching the opposite direction from your butt. And then we're going to come up onto a table pose. So, this is your table pose. Guess why? That's right, because you look like a table. I know, very crazy naming. What I want you to do though, before we do some of our table postures, is I want you to make sure that if I walked up to you right now and I put a glass of water on your back, it would not fall. So what that means is your back, it's not like this, and it's not like this. It's nice and flat, okay? Nice, like a little table. But now, we're gonna mess up our table, because we're gonna do some cat and cow poses. And we're actually gonna breathe with these poses. It's gonna feel very good, okay? So, inhaling, we're gonna come up, and then exhaling, come into our cat pose. So in our cat pose, I want to pretend that there's a ball under you, under your belly right here, and you're trying to hold it in your belly button. And then we're going to inhale and release that ball. Sorry, we're going to exhale and release the ball. And then we're going to inhale and hold the ball and exhale. Moo to our cow. And then we're going to inhale like a cat. Meow. And exhale. Moo into our cow. We're going to do that one more time. Meow. Inhale. And exhale. Moo. Might seem silly that I'm making these animal noises, but it's actually it feels good to let out some noise, you know? Especially if you're alone like I am. All right, so then from here, we're gonna do some opposite arm, opposite leg raises, okay? So this is a lot of core strength, so we'll see how we do. These are hard for everyone. So again, I want you to go back to that flat table. So if I wanted to come over and I wanted to put up my glass of water on your back while I'm doing yoga, it would stay here the whole time, okay? So flat back, and you're gonna try to keep that flat back and you're gonna bring one arm forward, and then back down. And then we're gonna take the opposite leg, we're gonna bring it up, and back down. And then we're gonna do the other arm, and back down. And then the other leg, and back down. And if you have sensitive wrists like me, you'll notice I just went up onto my knuckles. So instead of down here, I'm right here. Should be totally fine. So then I'm actually going to, you can keep doing just the arm and then coming back down and then the leg. I'm gonna try to do the challenge. If you'd like to accompany me, do it with me. We're gonna go opposite arm, opposite leg at the same time while trying to hold that glass of water on our back. And then I'm gonna switch. And again, feel free to follow along, just raising one arm or one leg. And put it back down. And then I'm gonna switch back to the beginning. Back down. And back down. Awesome, so that should have felt pretty good. We'll come back to that, don't worry. I know I really like doing tabletop stuff, it feels so good. So we'll come back to that. But now we have to get back to those plank movements we were doing, okay? And after this round, we will be done with any of the kind of harder stuff and we'll just cool down for the day, okay? So from this pose, I want you to bring your knees up and come back into that downward dog. And then from downward dog, we're gonna come forward into a plank, and then we're gonna step or hop our feet forward, and then we're gonna roll as slowly as we can. Back up. All right, that was awesome, you guys. So let's go back. We're gonna do one more round of the plank and the tabletop movements, and then we'll be ready to go. So coming back to the front of the mat, we're gonna breathe in as big and as tall as you can, such a big breath. And then we're gonna exhale, hands together through heart center. Forward fold, fingertips come down to the mat. And then we're gonna hop or jump our feet back into a plank. And we're gonna stay in this plank for just a second. So again, if your wrists are bothering you, you can come down onto your elbows. That's what I'm gonna do. It's the same plank. And then we're gonna take one leg and lift it and come back down. Other leg, lift it, come back down. Step that first foot out and back. Other foot out and back. And then we're gonna go back to those leg lifts. And out, and back, and out, and back. And then from here, we're gonna press into our downward dog. And then, again, you're gonna drop the knees to the outside of your mat, untuck your toes, and then sit back into a child's pose. From here, we're going to come up into our table, back to that table again. So if I wanted to go put a glass of water on your back, the water would not fall, okay? That's the goal. So we're back in our table, pressing through our fingertips to support us. And then we're gonna go back to those cat-cows. So again, feel free to join me in making the animal noises. I know it seems silly, but I promise it feels good. So we are going to inhale to our cat. Meow. And exhale And exhale. Nicely done. All right, now we're going to go back to those opposite arm, opposite leg raises. So to warm up, I'm going to just do one arm to one leg, and then the other arm to the other leg. One more time, one arm to one leg, and the other arm to the other leg. Now I'm going to try the challenge where I'm going to try to keep my back flat as a table, and I'm going to try to do one arm and one leg at the same time. So let's see how I do this time. So front arm, back leg, and lower, and then other side, and lower, and lower, and other side, and then lower. From here, we're going to again retuck the toes, and then push up into a downward dog. And then look forward. We're going to step or jump our feet to our hands again. And then we're going to roll all the way up. We're going to have a little break again here. Definitely have some water. Getting warm now. Using our core. So, next up, we are going to cool down a little bit because we've done our warm yoga. You should feel some heat coming from your midsection, from your stomach area, and your arms might be feeling a little bit tired from all that planking that we've been doing. So we're going to take it super mellow now. We're going to do 2 cool down flows together, okay? So, again, coming to the back of your mat this time. Closing your eyes, hands facing forward. So your hands should be open and facing the same way that your face is facing. We're going to close our eyes. And then we're going to bring our hands up, inhale, but we're going to catch our hands at the top, just like this, okay? And we're going to hold them together. So I'm holding my own hand. Then we're just going to bounce side to side. And I'm going to stop on one side and hold. You should look like a little crescent moon, just like me. And then I'm going to come up and over, and I'm going to become a crescent moon on the other side. And back up. And then you're going to try to trace a line on the ceiling with your hands, and try to look back as far as you can, and come back up. And then we're going to fold down the mat. Again, grabbing opposite elbows and letting your neck hang completely limp. Nodding your head yes. Shaking your head no. One more time, yes, I'm going to have an amazing day because I just did some yoga. And no, we'll never miss the Coach Art Live ever again. Then you're going to release your hands back to the mat and so slowly take your time and just have a nice walk down the street. But the street is your mat. We're going to go to a plank, and then from our plank, we're going to just drop it down immediately to the mat. And then we're going to stretch our collarbone forward and up in our baby snake pose. From here, we're going to reach up the toes, press through a plank into our downward dog. Again, pressing through the hands, moving the feet up and down. We are going to pick one leg up, bring it in between our hands again, but this time we're going to do something a little bit different. You're going to slide that foot over, drop the back knee, and then you're going to actually sit forward into that hip, and this is our pigeon pose. So if you can see, my leg is flat up here on the side, and I'm going to lean forward, and you should feel a really good stretch in your hip. I don't know why this pose is called pigeon pose. It might be a translation, but it doesn't look like a pigeon to me. Okay, we're going to bring our hands back up. We're going to come back onto that front foot, pick up the back knee, and then step that leg back. And then we're going to bring our other leg forward and through, drop the back knee, and then slide that foot over and come down into a pigeon pose again. And again, you're going to come back on your hands and then bring that foot back up and then lift the back knee and step that foot back, and we're back in our plank, and then we're going to step or hop our feet forward and slowly roll like you are a piece of string until you reach this top. We have one more flow, and then we are done for the day. So stay with me, we're so close. We're gonna come back up with our arms, again, holding them at the top. And this time we're gonna go straight into our crescent pose. Up and over to the other side. Back up. Then a little back bend. Just drop that head back. Try to find a spot on the wall behind you with your eyes. And then we're going to come forward and fold over. Grab your opposite elbows, let your head go. Again, nod your head. Yes, I am a superstar. Shake your head. No. I will never miss a Coach Antonia Facebook Live again. We'll reuse that one. And then you're going to release your hands back to the mat. And you're going to step or jump your feet back again into plank. And then lower to the mat, untuck the toes, and stretch our collarbone forward and up in our baby snake. And from here, retucking the toes, pressing up, through push-up, again into our downward dog. And from here, our final posture, we're going to drop our knees to the mat, untuck the toes, and sit back into a child's pose. Taking a second to be completely still. Send some love to your fingertips, your toes. Send some love to anyone in the world right now that you are grateful for. slowly start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, waking up your body, telling yourself, I'm ready to take on the rest of my day. And slowly you're going to roll up until you are on your knees. And we're going to say namaste. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this yoga flow. It will be available on the Coach Art page, and I will be teaching another fitness Facebook Live at the end of this month, which is really exciting. So thank you guys so much, and have a beautiful Thursday and rest of your week.